You guys want to see me get bit by a canine? Am I not showing that?
Yeah, you can do it.
I was doing,
How would you say that?
well, I don't, because you don't like to,
They asked me to do that one day, I was like, nope.
It wasn't even that bad.
Yeah. No.
They give me the nice one.
No, they're gonna put a Malin wall on me, I'm like, nope. Not happening. I've seen them knock people, big brother men down, I'm like, I'm good.
You get tased too? No, I was at canine because we're training canine. So then I always follow these guys for pictures and then it's like, I'll let your dog bite you.
Oh, they're like, come on, make me do it.
How you really train them?
Anyway,
You pepper spray them, tase them, and then just sit the dog on them. They get all the sensations at once.
Oh, yeah. That bad.
But that big old dog, big old teeth that come at you, nope. They have to run through, they put you down, wait, they let them run, they get a running start. Well, now on that thing, it lays straight out, when it hits you, it's got to knock you down. Man, and I'm like, nah, that ain't happening. You're brave. They did, left bruises on her arm, though. They're bruises, bro.
Good.
Thanks for the victory. I'm good. Hey,
It was so funny.
they tried to get me to do that too. Rick Elmhurst did it. His baby's bad that night. He's like, come on, you got like, nope. It'd be not like I've been a $2 or something.
I heard that pepper spray is the worst thing.
I've been pepper sprayed. It wasn't on purpose, but I've had that happen a couple times.
He sprays that on his food.
Yeah, when they got the new paintballs, and one of the pellets broke and the wind, immediately, we were downwind from the wind changed right as it broke, and it came right back to my face. It's got a big mouth, nose full of eyes. I couldn't see. And then I literally started gagging, throwing up. Your nose just turned into a faucet. I mean, you start pouring out your nose. Couldn't see anything. I was like, oh, I'm sorry. And then when the riots were going on in Lakeland, up there on Memorial Park Avenue, Paul Walker from Sheriff's Office, he's like, this one of these guys, they were trying to get out of there and wouldn't leave, and he kept coming by me and Stacy. I'm like, get away. What's it called? Like, Cookie's like, I'm sorry, man. He's like, boom, he shoots his tear gas at us. He goes right between our legs, and me and Stacy
You
call.
didn't get the warning Kimberly did of like, you have 2 minutes to evacuate the area.
No, Paul told, he's like.
Short warning.
He was trying to tell that guy to leave, and we were there shooting video. They were okay with us being there, but he figured when he had already been shot with a rubber bullet, and he's trying to show us, look at the mark they left on it. He's like, they told you to leave. And he wouldn't leave. So he's like, well, if I stand beside the media, they won't shoot me. Paul's like, wrong idea, buddy. The can comes right between our legs. We're like, oh, man. Start running, trying to get out of that. Like, run away. I'm like, oh. I'm going to punch this dude away from us.
It's only in college we fired a bunch of those, like the ball, like the gun pellet balls, into the lobby of a student dorm. So like once they go off because it's an enclosed
Closed area. No fun. Well, all the kids at USF learned that this year. Out there protested because they wouldn't leave. They were told to disperse at 5 o'clock. The president told them that you guys are done. We give you all day long. This is our campus. We own the school. It's like our property. You're done at 5. And we ain't going anywhere. I'm like, okay. Man, they hit on our
I
kids.
bet you do.
They hit on the kids that tear gas today. It's like ants running everywhere. And then because at that point they were considered trespassing, they all got arrested. They're all trying to run. All of a sudden here comes, I don't know, it's probably like 50 TPD cops on bicycles. And they ran them all down and handcuffed them all. It's like, oh God. It's like, it was some crazy looking video. Yeah, it was definitely wild. Wow.
At least they have practical like fights.
They did. Well, they had warned them for hours that if you dispersed at 5, they're like, you're going to be arrested. Hillsborough County Sheriff's Officer, FHP, TPD.
I mean, I
It's
was.
like, they came in like stormtroopers and all the riot gear and all that.
I
I'm
know.
talking hundreds of
Oh,
officers.
yeah, I mean, I was at UMass Amherst,
Oh.
when they had the UMass riots,
Mhm.
of the Boston versus Yankee game.
Yep.
They brought in 400 state troopers
Oh.
on mounted horseback. My point was like, you brought them into like what they call the Southwest City area.
Uh-huh.
Often the common term for the jungle, concrete jungle, because there's just stairs up and down everywhere. You bring these Clydesdale like horses into this area that just step. What are you thinking? Impossible, these Molotov and square guards.
Well, these kids thought they were gonna be there to outrun, you know, like the cop thing would catch us. Man, these guys came in on their bicycles. It's like they were literally diving off their bikes, tackling these kids. And like, oh my
So
God.
this is why I said at least practical, not class
Yeah, right. It's like Clydesdale.
I'll
Did you
never
guys
forget.
see that viral tackle with FHP? That he stopped the guy on the motorcycle and he was like.
I didn't see that one.
So big, good way to dodge, fight, I'll take everything.
He went over the top of the car.
He got it.
They put it to like the
Alright,
NFL
thank you.
music.
My goodness.
Huh?
You're welcome.
Just show up when you
She's like, stop calling.
What?
Okay. Alright, fine.
Nothing like sending you at the last minute. It's nothing like sending you at the last minute. I hate that.
Well, I'm not supposed to start till 3. So they called me at like 12:30.
Hey, keep it cold, right?
Not anywhere near my house.
Thanks. She's like, look, I ain't supposed to go shit yet. All right, leave me alone.
That was just an extended lunch break.
Is it?
Let's face it. She's like, leave my name out of it. She's like, leave my name out of it.
They all know who you're playing. I just threw you all the way up. Backed it up. Now Brady's gonna come out and poke at you.
Well, this was supposed to start at this time, but you know, put that on Facebook, Keith, make sure it says. Yeah, I'll put that in the description.
Wrong yet.
Easy said, I'll get there when I get there.
No.
They're gonna wait for me. I don't know who they think they are, but. In line level.
All right, testing 1 2 3. Test test. 1 2 1 2 3. Testing testing 1 2 3. So you got that? Audio's good? All right.
You all good?
Yeah. All right.
Got me excited. Thought it was good.
race for reviews. Thought about like, can I just go straight there? And it's like, not dressed appropriately. Would have had a shoot on my butt all weekend. I'm trying.
It's getting ridiculous. He's showing up at Chopper now.
Let's make a good entrance.
I could have used that about an hour ago.
All right. I need that right.
I saw the drones on the back part yesterday. They wouldn't give me sound. She said no for tomorrow. So I called her. I'm like, I can probably get a sound after the sound, but if you want me to cover it, okay. And she can leave now. I'll keep on making it. She was trying to stall all the way down the road. She was screaming. I'm gonna cover this. It's Jerry Ryan. You guys remember Jerry Ryan? She used to do the animal services. Oh, yeah. I guess they wanted her boss to do it. He was like, no, she can do it. Like, come on, man. Just be some 5 minutes on why this park is so great. Come on, let's do it. Do your hair. Give them the free hot dogs because some bitch.
Greg must have got me some realize.
Free hot dog is so, come on. Yeah. I need some water. Whether they get water, yeah, everything was dry. Hot. See, I was in a terrible spot because everyone kept standing up. And I had like a 6'8" guy right in front of me.
Like this.
Most of mine is.
So like taps and.
Watch my car drive.
Alrighty, here we go.
But they all stood.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for being with me today. I've got 2 items that we're going to go over. And the first one that I want to talk about is a murder, a cold-blooded murder of a 39-year-old mother by her 17-year-old son. And it's not just a singular murder, but as we got into the investigation, we found that about a year and a half, maybe a year and 8 months, 9 months earlier, he murdered his father in Oklahoma. So let me tell you about this. It all started on September the 8th, which was this last Sunday, when we got a 911 call from Colin Griffith, who's 17 years of age. And here's what he said. He said he and his mother had a very long fight, and she fell on a knife and killed herself. And she's bleeding from the neck. He didn't say she killed herself, said he's bleeding from the neck. So our 911 operators appropriately were giving them instructions on how to do life-saving techniques. When the deputies arrived, he met the deputies outside, and he was calm, cool, collected, not upset, and he had blood on him. What we found inside was this knife. This knife is 12 inches long, and of the 12 inches, 8 inches of that is the blade. So he's saying that his mother fell on this knife. We started our investigation at that point. The next morning at the medical examiner's office and the autopsy, the medical examiner said it is not reasonable or plausible that she died the way that he said she did. Just didn't happen. There were witnesses outside the mobile home that actually saw Colin drag his mother into the house by the hair on her head. Colin is about 6 foot and 160 pounds. So an investigation started. This residence was at 77 Hewlett Drive, which is Auburndale, and it's called the Hamptons. It's a 55 and over community. And where it occurred was at Colin's grandmother's house. Colin's grandmother at the time was not there. She has another home in the Keys, and that's where she was. But let me go through some details, because as we start to peel back the layer of this onion, we find out that this is not just a singular event with Colin stabbing his mother in the neck and ultimately killing her. Here's what we found, and follow me as I read a timeline to you. On February 14th, 2023, on Valentine's Day, in Lincoln County, Oklahoma. There's a Lincoln County, Nebraska too. In Lincoln County, Oklahoma, Colin said that his dad pulled a knife on him, and he shot and killed his dad. That's right. His father was named Charles. He shot him once in the chest and once in the head, and he claimed self-defense. The Lincoln County Sheriff's Office and the Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigations charged Colin with murder in the first degree. They dropped the charges less than a month later. They said they could not disprove Colin's assertion of self-defense. So he was released. Well, when he was released, in March of 23, just barely a month after the original murder of his father, he came to Charlotte County, Florida, to live with his mother. And when he came to live with his mother, Catherine Griffith, who was 39, you would think things would be better. He would be really, really lucky that, hey, this was a self-defense and I'm here with mom. But 6 months later, guess what happened? He's Baker acted. So it's September, and as he's getting out of the original Baker Act, he makes a statement that, well, I'll kill myself, or I'll kill my mother by shooting or stabbing her. Charlotte County re-Baker Acts him the same exact day. They keep him 3 more days. Now we're 2 months later. This is November 2023. Colin then is arrested for domestic violence on his mother. And the reason he battered his mother is because she was disciplining him and took his video game privileges away. So he beat up his mother. He pushed her to the ground and he stomped on her. The grandmother was there and witnessed this. Colin said it was self-defense. She made me do it. The grandmother said, no, no, no. Your mother did not provoke this at all. You simply were being disciplined and made to give up your game because of failure to carry out what you should, empty the garbage, wash the dishes, whatever they gave him to do. He claims self-defense when he stomped his mama, but he went to jail anyway. 3 months later, 12th of February in 2024, he has an argument with his mother, and he runs away from Charlotte County and comes back to Auburndale to his grandmother's house. Now, his grandmother's not there. And we got involved in this on the 12th of February, and the mother said, and the grandmother said, hey, we don't feel safe with him around. So our deputies who found him up here as a missing persons reported in Charlotte County turned him over to DCF. 2 days later, on the 14th of February, the anniversary of him killing his dad a year ago, he's reunited with his mother by DCF. Colin made the statement that I don't want to go home. I'll use any force necessary to avoid it, to include killing my mother. So that's the second time he threatened to kill his mother. 2 weeks later, so they didn't make him go home on the 14th, but about 2 weeks later, in March 2024, they reunite Colin with his mother again. Everybody's calmed down. Now, in May of 2024, Colin graduated from an alternative high school in Charlotte County and began attending community college. Now let's advance 4 months later to September the 6th. Colin has an argument about home chores, and he flees from his mother's house again and comes up to his grandmother's house. Grandmother's not there. She's in the Keys. So then mom lets the event calm down, and she tells her son, hey, you need to come home. And she asks him to come home and face his responsibility. Colin says, I'm not coming back home. That was September the 7th. So now we're to the fateful day on September 8th. Mom drives up here to Auburndale from Charlotte County. She arrives at 4 o'clock. At about 4:30, witnesses and neighbors see Colin and Mom arguing outside, and Colin grabs his mother by the hair and drags her into the house. Just about 2 hours later, that's when we receive a 911 call where Colin said, I've had a very, very long fight with Mom, and she fell on a knife and she's bleeding from the neck. Our investigation clearly and unequivocally shows that that circumstance did not occur like that. In fact, he used similar language to when he made the 911 call, 18 or 20 months earlier, when he shot and killed his father. It's important to understand, when you look at this, you see a kid. When I look at him, I see a psychopath. I see totally erratic behavior. to the point that he's already, at 17 years of age, shot and killed his father and got away with it, and stabbed his mother in the neck so hard that the knife went all the way through and was to the back of her neck, and she died there. He's being charged with first-degree murder, obviously, and we are asking the state attorney's office, it's their decision, but our state attorney's office is the greatest, to prosecute him as an adult. We've also wrapped back around with the prosecutors, the DA's offices, they call them in Oklahoma, and they said if we develop information during this investigation that allows them, they will reopen the murder investigation in Oklahoma and potentially charge him out there. But at this time, they did not have sufficient information to charge him with murder. The unfortunate thing was now he's killed 2 people and killed his mother and father, and I can assure you, beyond and to the exclusion of every reasonable doubt, based upon his conduct, had he gone to live with his grandmother at the end of this and she crossed him, she would be next. He's violent. He's dangerous. He showed zero remorse when he was being interviewed. In fact, when we attempted the interview, he met the original deputy in the front yard. And he didn't say, Mom's in here, Mom's bleeding to death, Mom needs help. He looked the deputy in the eye and says, I know my rights, I want an attorney. Zero emotion about, hurry up, help Mom, she's bleeding, she's got a problem. He is a dangerous human being. And we have him securely locked up, and we are working with the state attorney's office. We're putting the rest of the investigation together. We have began to talk to some of the family, which has confirmed that he is a dangerous person. Before I go to the second event, are there any questions?
Sheriff, do you think the system failed him, that he should have never been out? I mean, after killing his father?
Well, so when you look at this and you see how violent and how dangerous he is, it makes you wonder to what extent and what depth of investigation was done, because they released him from that murder charge that was lodged apparently within a month or so, because they were shipping him to his mother that quick. Now, did they wrap it up in that short period of time, or did they just say, hey, take him home and notify the family later that we're not going to charge him? I don't know. But it's important to be accountable and responsible for your own actions. My question is, was there anything else that could have been done? Because had Oklahoma been able to act, Catherine would be alive and well today. But because she took him and tried to do like a mother should do and take care of him, she's now dead. Everybody that's special, should be special to him in his life, is dead when they crossed him.
Is there any history of abuse?
We're looking through that now to see what his family history there may be.
Sheriff, I noticed he has a charge of violation of no contact order. What do you found out?
We're working through the back pages now. Obviously, he's been involved with DCF in Oklahoma, if for no other reason, from the murder. He was involved with DCF here. We've been putting together our criminal case here. We will go through the back pages of him and any other interactions he's had with the system to try to determine everything that we can. But what we know for sure is he's violent and he's dangerous and he'll kill you, because he's done that on 2 occasions. Yes, ma'am.
Let me ask, I noticed that
the witnesses say they saw him outside at 4:30 with the fight. The 911 call was at 6 p.m. Is there a suspicion he still just bothered much earlier and then that time?
We are also investigating that. As you know, with these death investigations, the medical examiner cannot narrow down the frame to a 15-minute period. But certainly there are telltale signs that we are working through. So we looked inside the house. He said there was a protracted fight, and the home is neat and clean, and no evidence of any kind of a large fight or a long fight, as he said.
There's a kitchen knife?
It's a kitchen knife from the house.
People might hear you say DCF was involved and, you know, he was released. Is there anything you want to say about the system in Florida, the DCF system? Or?
Do you know, DCF has an impossible job because all of society's wayward children and problem children and hot action events come to their lap. What did they know when? I don't know. That's part of the background investigation. I'm certainly not in a position, nor do I have an inclination to blame DCF at this point in the investigation. He was being intensely watched by the Charlotte County Sheriff's Office as a part of one of their programs down there. They had often contact with him and did a remarkable job keeping up with him. But he was not under any criminal charges at all. It was simply that he'd been Baker Act and he had made verbal threats, and a verbal threat in and of itself, until you have the ability to carry it out and the means and a lot of legal posturing, you can't just arrest people. And Mom came back up here to get him to, once again, she was angry. She needed a cooling off period for a time, and then she wanted him back down there so she could appropriately deal with him. So there's still a lot of background and a lot of DCF stuff between Oklahoma and Florida that we're looking through. But listen, when you finish all of this, what I call sociological positioning, nothing gives you the right to unilaterally stab your mother and kill her. And I'm not convinced, based upon what I know now Oklahoma didn't know this then, there were no witnesses to him shooting his dad. I'm not sure now that he didn't set his dad up to murder him. We don't know that. It's under investigation, and certainly my prayer is if somebody knows something that can help prosecute him in Oklahoma that was missed for whatever reason, they come forward. Okay? We have another event. I want to introduce you to Thomas Anglin. He's 40 years of age. He's a felon. He's had 16 previous criminal charges, everything from armed burglary with a firearm to aggravated assault with a weapon to domestic violence with a weapon to possession of meth. And of course, you'd never want to have possession of drug charges without having a good old cannabis charge thrown in. This guy is a problem. In fact, in 2018, we had to get him out of the house once before. And at that time, he said, well, tell Grady he better bring his tank and his helicopter because I'm going to take the kids with me when I go. And then 2021, he threatened suicide by cop. On another occasion, we had to get him out of, I believe, the attic on one of those two occasions. So we're here for the third time. So apparently, like 2:30 this morning, he goes to his neighbor's house and he wants to smoke and needs a light. And the neighbor and he have an argument. He goes home, gets a shotgun, and shoots into the neighbor's house. So, of course, the sheriff's office is called. We get his mother and I believe a sister or a daughter and another person out of the house. He refuses to come out. He barricades himself. So we hail him over our PA systems, and we call him out and call him out and call him out, and he refuses to come out. We know he has an arsenal in there. We know he has a sawed-off shotgun. We know he's already fired a shot into his neighbor's home. So he's now wanted for more serious felony charges. So we called out SWAT. And we put gas in the house, and he doesn't come out. We put more gas in the house, and he doesn't come out. Well, let me take you back just, 2 or 3 weeks ago. Some Lake County deputies went into a house and were summarily shot, and one of them killed, and at least one other severely injured. So we weren't going in, so we were trying to poke a hole into the house so we could see him and find him and locate him, because he wouldn't come out. He still wouldn't come out. Finally, we did everything we could, and well, we're going to have to go in to get him out. So we go into the house, and we find him deceased on the floor with a shotgun. Our first thought is, well, he shot himself. He has no evidence of being shot. Apparently, he's overdosed and died on the floor of the house. We're still at the scene now. Our criminal investigations team is, we know he's got a history of overdosing. So we obviously did not shoot him. We don't see any indication that he shot himself. It appears to be an overdose, and obviously that's the reason that he couldn't come out if he was inclined to come out. However, he had a history of not coming out, of making us come in. And that's what I like to share with folks. These deputies and all law enforcement officers do a very, very dangerous job, and we're going to do everything we can to keep them alive and well and safe while we arrest bad guys. But when a man shoots into his neighbor's house because he's angry because he won't give him a light for his cigarette at 2 o'clock in the morning, we're not taking any more chances. This is at least 3 times that we've had to take him out of that house that he wouldn't come out. So at the end of the day, our folks are alive and safe and well. His mother and the other young lady is alive and safe and well, and the investigation is underway, but we certainly anticipate he overdosed and laid on the floor and died. Any questions about that?
In the last case, is that teen being tried as an adult?
Excuse me?
The gentleman that...
We will request that. That's a determination for the state attorney. But Brian Haas is simply the best state attorney, and I have every confidence that he's going to move them to adult court, because that's what he's done in the past with these kind of serious, horrific charges. But that's his decision, not mine. Okay, thank you very much. Have a good day.